Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film La Chimera, directed by Alice Rohrwacher. So I've really enjoyed some of Alice's previous films, Corpo Celeste and The Wonders, and particularly Happy as Lazaro. I particularly love the Lazaro film. I watched it again and I've done a separate review on that. The main character in La Chimera is Arthur. He's a British archaeologist in 1980s Tuscany, and he's played by Josh O'Connor, who I'd also just seen in Challengers. I've done a separate review on that. What an amazing actor Josh O'Connor is. He's completely different characters in these two films. And also Isabella Rossellini's in La Chimera, playing a great supporting role. So Arthur is kind of the leader of a group of local grave robbers, and he's equipped with a kind of unique divining ability which he uses to locate ancient tombs full of Etruscan antiquities, and these antiquities are then sold on the black market. It's all against the law, of course. Arthur is a melancholic character, and he's kind of living in poverty, as most of the people around him are. He has these visions of a lost love. He wears this white suit, so he's very distinctive, but it gradually gets dirtier and dirtier through the film. He clearly has a very messy life. Now, Alice's work is often described as being magic realism, and there is an element of this to all her films. For me, I find her work profoundly spiritual, and this was the case in La Chimera. Arthur is perhaps connected to the dead, firstly to his lost love, but also perhaps through the tombs and these sacred objects. There's a clash here between two things, between this group of people who see the dead as no longer existing, and therefore this sacred objects are fair game. And on the other hand, there's this sense of a violation of the sacred, interfering in the souls of others. And I really liked this kind of conflict that runs throughout the film. Alice's films are often about rural life, about poverty. They often include non-actors, some of whom she actually grew up with. In all of her films, there's a strong sense of the mundane, and there was in La Chimera, but also there's always a politics. This film is about class and exploitation. It's about poor people living on the edge of society, but access to these antiques gives them an opportunity to make some money, to make something of themselves. And capitalism sees these as merely valuable objects. There's no value on the spiritual or cultural heritage. This kind of commodification of culture and history. I really like the politics of this film. It's not in your face, but it's nuanced, but it's really effective and really clear. This film is slow and long. It's about 2.25 hours, but it's very thoughtful, it's deep, and it's poetic. It's a film that needs to be slowly digested, I think, and it's one of those films that sticks with you afterwards. And the pieces only start fitting together at the end of the film, really, even after the film is finished. And I think some of the best artworks plant seeds, which then kind of turn into something later. I've been thinking about the film a lot since I saw it. One issue I wasn't sure about was several of the scenes are kind of speeded up with people running around in a kind of comedic way. This just felt a little bit too light-hearted for me, given the tone of the whole film. I wasn't sure what the purpose of this was, and it just clashed too much with the overall tone of the film. I also wonder whether Arthur's character is a little shallow. It is a great acting performance by Josh O'Connor, but it's very subdued. I'm actually not sure on this point. Perhaps his character does lack some depth, but on the other hand, there is a lot of ambiguity in this film. Overall, I think that we just get enough pieces of the jigsaw to piece it together. I very much liked the ending. At first, I wasn't sure what it meant, but the more I sat with it, the more it just about slotted together. One other thing I liked was the use of the different aspect ratios. It was filmed on various cameras with various sizes of film. And it reminded me a bit of looking through a box of photos. It kind of gave a historical feel to the to the film, an archive. Overall, I really enjoyed this film, but it doesn't mean that it was an easy watch. Perhaps it is a little bit long. I'm actually not saying it is too long. This is the case with Alice's films. They do require a bit of immersion, a bit of time to digest them. They're not necessarily entertaining films, but this film is well worth watching. I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.